Welcome back to another episode of RAW-NATIK. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. This is a live. I think I could count with my fingers how many lives I've done on this channel. But I'm just very excited today because in the past episodes and segments that I've done, I've mentioned that I want to bring my mother onto the podcast because she had been through a lot of paranormal experiences as well, and some of the things I've actually told you guys about too in the past. But it's nothing better than listening, you know, from the person that actually experienced it. So I want to go ahead and introduce my mom. Her name is
Hi.
Norma, and my youngest that you guys seen a couple other ones, Aisha. And in the audience today we have Mari.
Hello.
So yes, hello, Boricua in Wisconsin. I see somebody saying hi, hello. And so let me just ask my mom a few questions that me as being her son, I probably know, but it's been so long since I've been on my own and stuff. Who knows if things have changed, right? So, mom, I wanted to ask you, what has always been your favorite scary movie? Because I know you like scary movies. You always would get. She will always gather all the cousins and everybody to watch a scary horror movie when we were kids, and that's why a lot of us like all that. But what,
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th with Jason.
Mm-hmm.
What about all the villains and all the monsters and everybody out of all the movies? Which one is the scariest one? Like Freddy Krueger. You got Jason. You got Michael Myers. You got um.
Um, I would say Night of the Living Dead.
So like zombies and stuff.
Zombie movies, yeah.
Okay. Um, I know some of the stories that you have told me when I was a kid um, was, of course, stories from when you was a kid. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, how old was you when you went through your first paranormal experience? How old was you?
I probably was around, I would say 7.
7 years old. Okay. And what was that first experience?
Okay, well, the first experience I had was about my parents used to live in Puerto Rico. It
Mm-hmm.
was like in a farm place. My father had built a house
I'm un
for
poquito
my
más
mom,
alto. Ujú.
and we were supposed to go to New York City to live. So we used to have two little girls besides me. We were all 8 altogether, but there were two youngest besides me, and one of them was, you know how little girls are. They had to change their pampers. So my oldest sister had left to the car, and it was kind of far from where the house was, and we were supposed to be leaving around 4:30 in the morning. It was still dark out there,
Yeah, it's still
and
dark at that
but we
time.
still had like the moon shining, so we could probably see stuff, not as when it's light like
Daylight.
daylight. But yeah, and I remember I was walking to go get my oldest sister because my parents told me to go get the little pamper so we could change it from my oldest sister that she already had carried the pampers for her. When she came back, well, she wasn't gonna come back, so I didn't want to go by myself because usually in that place where we used to live, it's called a tiza in Puerto Rico, and there was always paranormal activity going on in that part of the town. And when I started walking towards my sister, I decided to call, like, her name was Migdalia, and I started calling Migdalia, because I started walking. It was like a wire ball, like in walking through,
Okay.
and they had like um, wob up trees around it.
Not a
So when I
fruit tanks.
Yeah, so when I started walking and I started saying, Midalia, all of a sudden I already walked like, into the street, but it was a part where it was a little bit kind of dark. So when I started going, Midalia, so I heard somebody go back. So when I turned around, I only see this head on top of a wire, butt wire, talking to me and just going like side to side, like, it was scary. I mean, so
So it was just the head part of the
yeah,
body.
because I was trying to look down to see if I see the legs. I know I saw was wire. When
Barbed wire,
the
yeah.
barbed wire, when they put it around for the horses and the
Yeah,
cows.
so they
and
won't
that
come
thing.
out. Yeah, yeah.
So when I saw the head,
So this is like a country farm area with a lot of trees and a lot of
hmm
wildlife and stuff as well. But that's why they had the gates
yeah,
of barbed wire, and you saw the head on top of the barbed wire with no body.
exactly. But it still was like going
It was
side to side
hissing. It
with
was
the eyes.
hissing, and the eyes were moving side to side.
Yeah, and so I started walking back when I saw her, and I asked her in Spanish, "Who are you?" I said, "¿Quién es usted?" Like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
And I started walking back, and he kept saying like, and doing the same thing. Man, I jet. I said, I jet. I remember I have this back in the day. We used to have outfit. It was like the shirt goes with the pants. I must have jumped this big ass rock that was. I jumped over it when I was running. I even ripped my pants.
Wow.
And I went to my father's and I told my father, I don't want to go. I don't want to go because I told him what happened, and we still had to pass through the same passage to go to the car. So I said, "Don't worry, we'll change them in the car." So my father had to pick me up, and I had to put my head like hiding from my father because I would not want to pass through there.
Really, I remember you told me that a long time ago, just the same way that you said it now. That's crazy.
So
You imagine seeing. You imagine you. What about you? If you see somebody
No,
just
that's the
ahead.
noise I told you about. I heard the other day. Remember?
Oh, now this one heard that noise.
No,
Like, what you talking about?
When I came back from your house when you were explaining me your stories, when I was working, I heard like twice. It was on that day and then the day like after, and I was working. I was just doing the chairs, and all I hear is like what you told me.
Really?
Yeah, and I told you about that, and you guys thought it was crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was.
We just don't want to believe it.
Well,
I brought her
for from my way of thinking, I always say when kids talk to their parents about something that's going on, believe them. Because usually kids don't lie. Especially like when they're younger, like 5, 6, 7,
Yeah.
those kids, they will not lie.
in.
Always, give them the benefit of the doubt and investigate because when something happens,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
You know.
investigate. I'm gonna go over there and say, "Who's there? Just
Yeah,
show
yeah,
yourself."
That's
All I
funny.
could tell her, get the fuck out from there, man.
Oh my God.
No, but I know that. Okay, that's your first paranormal experience.
Yeah.
But okay, before, because I also remember a couple of things. Like when I was small.
About the hand that it grabbed me. in
Well,
the
I
bed.
wasn't nowhere alive yet at that time. You still were very young. How old was you when that happened?
I must have been like around maybe 10, 9, 10 years old.
Okay, so
That was the
let me,
second thing that happened.
if I remember correctly, you was living in this house and you would share a room with others,
Yeah.
and you was in the bottom bunk, in the bottom, like
No, my father, I remember back in the day, my father did a big board because we was real poor. And we would throw like a lot of clothes in there, and with like a mattress.
they did like the what 60s,
Yeah. No.
70s.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, so there's only so much back then. Yeah.
I remember that we were 8. It was 4 girls. No, let me see. It was 6 girls and 2 boys. Okay. So it was like we were sleeping, all 4 of us in one of the beds that my father had done. But
So
in the
it
same
was like
room,
a
it was a
platform.
big,
It was
it's like a
platform.
flat board. Yeah, but I was always smart with numbers ever since I was little. So I remember that day, I was so hot, and I was sleeping with my other 3 sisters, but me, it was 4 in one bed. It was 2 down and 2 up. So I already knew how to count, but I was like so hot. So I woke up because I felt like pain in my arm, and it was like squeezing me. It keeps squeezing me harder and harder. So when that happened, um, I woke up and I looked at it, and it, I can barely see that because I remember they had the la plancha. How you say that?
So there are metal, what do we call metal sheets
Yeah,
that will
because
be the roofs over there,
so
in the
the kind
courthouses.
of the light will come in through the
The cracks from the
cracks from the
seams.
ceiling and the board because it was a wooden house. So anyway, when I woke up because of the pressing me in my hand, I remember I looked at my hand and I counted one, two, because there was an extra hand in my hand. But then I kept, touching my sister. I said, "This is Carmen. She got two hands, okay. This is Nilsa. She got two hands, and this is me. Dalia got two hands." And then I said, "Mine, it was supposed to be eight hands, but there was one miss. I mean,
There was one extra
extra."
nine. There was nine of them.
Man, when I saw that happen, I just started begging, like, "Get off me, get off me, get off." I started screaming. And I started screaming for my dad. Then my dad, I remember when my dad turned on the lights that he came running towards my room where we were. The thing just went just like that. I remember it was cut, it was fairy, it had nails, and it had like some kind of like when you open a can of
So it was like the top of a can
tomato sauce.
that was covering the back of the hand, right?
Yeah, just but I noticed that it was just like if we would have had like little tags all around, like into the hand, like if they would have built that hand or something. But it was real pretty. That thing just let go of me when the lights turned on and just went down to the floor, and it went right through the hole, one of the holes. And then when my father came over and I was like explaining to him, that day my father had to take me with him to his bed. And I was like 10 years old.
Well, I asked about like when was this? You said the 70s, so it's not like you guys just finished watching a
A
couple
movie
of
or
horror
nothing?
movie or
No.
anything like that over there
No.
in Puerto Rico.
A lot of stuff.
And that happened in Puerto Rico too, right?
Yeah. And then there was another time that I would like to share with you guys. I remember there was supposed to be a storm coming, a hurricane was coming. So back in the days, my father and the people used to go cut bamboos and make like barrels. What it's kind of like a Indian tent, but made with bamboo towards the ground. And then they would like throw cement or whatever. And he built the whole barrel. And you believe he put his wife, 8 kids, himself, a dog, and all the chicks, and I think it was a whole bunch of stuff in there that he wanted to save, food and stuff, because this hurricane was supposed to come. Okay, so
So he's just like protecting everything before the storm gets.
yeah, so this is what me and my father and my brother, my older brother, he was like 1 year older than me. He must have been like, I would say like 9. I was like 8. And my father said, "Come with me because we're going to cut bamboos to build it, the barricade for in case the hurricane will come," which he did it and everything. We went and we were cutting, and he would take it so that we could like carry it with him, like, and pull it all the way back of him so we could take it back to the house so that we could build that thing. Well, over here, my father is cutting the bamboo, and so was my brother helping him or whatever. And when I turned like that and I look at the bamboo, like I was gonna go get one, and I look up, it was like I don't know if it was a chimpanzee because the thing was it had no head. It was all fur, a lot of hair coming down. His two eyes was like in my breast, like this. Okay, it was two big eyes, and it was like teeth coming out like that, right in the middle. But I won't see his nose, and it was all full with a lot of hair going all the way down, and then his hand will come out from up here. And when I looked at it, because I mean I know what a monkey looks like, but it wasn't a monkey or a chimpanzee. It was something out of this world because the two eyes was as big, like let's say on top of my breast, like this, and it was like no hair like that. It was all like that going down. when I looked at it, I said, "Oh my God, Pop, look!" And I told my father and my brother. They seen it too. He actually jumped from that bamboo trees all the way down to the ground. And you believe it or not, and I'm not kidding you, he went under the ground. It's like if it would have been like arena moviliza, how you say that?
Like quicksand.
Like quicksand. And he just swallowed the whole thing. After that, I never seen him again. But I tell you one thing, I let go that bamboo, and my father say, "Let's go run." We all jet. We all jet. And I said, "Oh no more." Yeah, that was another experience that I had.
I know when we lived in Waterloo and Berks in Philly, that my dad he was coming home late, and me and you were in the bed playing around or whatever, and I saw a shadow head.
It was a head.
Yeah, pop up in the door. Because the light of the hallway was on, and then the door from the room was open, so like somebody popped their head in. And I told my mom that, and she was like, "Oh no, it's all right." And then she saw it, so then she was like, "It's probably your dad." And then so she sent my ass to go over there. I was small as shit. I was like 5 or 6, bro. She sent my ass over there. She's talking about this is my dad. So I'm like, I'm going down the stairs. I went down like 3 steps, and I looked to the left, and I looked to the right. And my dad was nobody was down there, you know. So I jetted upstairs, like, oh shit, you know what?
Yeah,
you know. But then we received a phone call from my aunt saying that her dog just gave birth to a whole bunch of little dead
baby
dogs,
chihuahuas. Yeah.
Yeah. So that with the phone call, we got it right after we saw that. So I don't know how that could be related to that, but maybe it was this letting us be aware that something bad was gonna happen, and that was the bad thing, or I don't know what connection that had.
Well, the thing was when I first moved in there, I remember they told me that there was a lady there that used to do like witchcraft and stuff.
Oh, look, this is news to me.
Witchcraft, and then the room where you were sleeping, it was all painted black when I moved in there.
Oh, you see this shit? I can't make this shit up.
Yeah, your room was all black. Yeah, and that's what she used to do all the witchcraft in there. But check this out. Check this out. The thing was when I first moved in there, then your father and myself, we painted the whole room in white. So
we can't get darker than black, so thank God it was white.
We painted white. We put prime first. It was like kind of yellowish, and then we turned it to white. Wow. But yeah, I figured maybe that's what it was, because when you came back up from the steps, and I said, "Nah, you gotta be kidding me. The angel's gotta be there, because he's always messing with us." That's another thing. He's always either throwing shoes, trying to scare us and stuff. Mm-hmm. But this time, I noticed that I started to remember, but I did put the chain on the door. If he would have came at 3, 4 o'clock, I would have still known the time that he got home, because I always would bug him with it. So when my son told me, Angel, when he told me that there was nobody downstairs, I decided to go downstairs, and I said, he's got to be hiding. So I went down to open the door to check the jar. The door was locked. The door going down the basement was locked. And then again, the living room door had the chain that it was locked. So it freaked me out. I said, this is a ghost or something. And I got my son. I said, you know what? Just put your coat on. We went. It must have been like midnight.
That was crazy.
And we went outside. It was freezing. And I went out the house, and I just sat on the steps until Angel came. And when Angel came, then we all went inside. Yeah. But actually, that's what I'm saying. He saw it, and I saw it.
So I know, we could go on and on with a lot of our stories that we've had, and I know you want to share with everybody the one that incident that happened in Kensington, Philadelphia, when we lived in Philly, in that area, with the presence of like a big type of beast dog, that going down the stairs.
That was really scary. I remember
So we had beads, a curtain of beads that divided the dining room and the kitchen.
From the kitchen, yeah.
So whatever passes through there, the beads would,
Yes.
So.
Well, okay. I had. always used to get his cousin to come down the house, like in the weekend, and we would just
Shout out to
do
Judy.
popcorn, watch scary movies, do stories and stuff. And I remember I had three dogs. One was Cindy, the other one was Nina, and Baby. There was three dogs, two Chihuahua, one number two Chihuahua, one number three Chihuahua, and Pomeranian,
Yeah.
which she was Cindy.
Hmm.
Well, they will always sit by me. Like if I'm sitting here, they will all go around and sit around me. Well, I remember the day we were saying stories
You
and
told her
stuff.
this one already?
I don't think so.
I remember.
And we were doing stories and whatever. And that day, for some reason, I remember that I looked up like that, and from the second story coming down, I seen this big black, and I'm talking big black dog. It must have been a dog because it was so furry, but I could.
Because it was on four legs
It
too,
was
right?
on four legs, yeah. So he just kept going down the steps, and he went right into the kitchen. He went in there so fast that
The curtains,
the curtain with the
beads.
beats started going like that really hard. And I said, what the heck? So after that, right after that, I remember my Nina was pregnant and she had her baby. I think it was the next day, and the baby came out as big as her.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah.
believe the baby
Yep.
came as big as the
With
mother.
big teeth and everything. I
And
don't think
I
like
remember
puppies.
I remember that we took, and it was black too.
Yeah.
I remember we took it out with the broom, and she's still a.
That dog
she
was immortal. Even a big SEPTA public transportation bus ran it over and it didn't do nothing to her.
Really, I didn't see
Oh
that.
shit, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
You let her out?
No, that must have been Freddie.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I didn't do it. I couldn't believe it. They ran her over.
Anyway, the thing was that this was so.
Chihuahua.
Usually when a Chihuahua's gonna have a baby, they're usually like little mice, little.
Yeah, small.
This dog of mine, she had a baby, but it was the biggest baby. I'm not shitting you. It looked at a little bit more, it would have been her size. A little bit more would have been, and it was all black with teeth. That's another thing with teeth. When they usually hardly don't got teeth,
Yeah.
they had teeth like.
No, that's when you could tell something was wrong. It was the black, and then you see
And I
that
remember
black
if
beast.
Freddie took it and
And, okay, but the thing is, yeah, I think so because baby, which would be the male that would have been with Nina,
it would have came out white.
it was white.
Yeah.
Oh
my God! Yeah,
he played them with the black beast.
Oh no!
Oh man,
It's so funny.
this is all true, by the way, guys.
Wait, what do you guys think about shadow people?
Shadow people?
You know what I'm
Well,
talking about?
just like I said, I saw a shadow head. I saw it with my own eyes, and I told Mom, and she, she played it off, but then she saw it.
No, but here's the thing: people see it in like the corner. Like you'll be looking at something straight, and then you'll see something standing in the corner of your eye, and you look, and it's gone.
Yeah,
that happens a lot to me. Yeah, that happens a lot.
That's been
to
happening
me.
a lot to me.
Sometimes
lately.
I'm thinking it's just my frame from my glasses, the reflection, or something.
En el trabajo sometimes happen.
Yeah.
It happened to me a lot.
En el
When I was
trabajo.
cleaning the bathroom, I kept seeing a head poking out, and it was in the same exact spot, going in and
No,
out.
me en different places.
No, I'm
Como
saying
que hay
I
alguien
looked.
ahí y miro y no hay nadie.
No, but I
Oh my
looked in the
God.
corner and I don't see anybody there, and I keep seeing that.
Yeah, I'm not mentioning the names or anything, but we work in a place where there is a lot of history.
Mm-hmm.
There are hundreds, maybe over 1,000, like fixtures and artifacts, and even wood and stuff that came from places.
Back in the day.
18 something.
It's
we got
just
military.
there's history.
Mhm.
There's history. So, but okay, real fast, 'cause we're gonna end this soon. But I remember, and I want to get this cleared up because I'm kind of foggy in my mind when it comes to this. I remember you had a friend. Okay, first of all, you and me, we went to Aramingo. I was a little kid. You were, way younger back then. We went to Aramingo Toys R Us. Ouija board was the thing in the neighborhood. Okay, so my mom, she bought hers. Everybody had one, so she bought
Yeah, I
one too to
remember.
find out. I remember the cash register guy, young guy asking, right? Are you sure you want to buy this? I'm small, but I still remember like if it was yesterday. Are you sure you want to buy it? And my mom said, yeah, my friends have it, and they're having fun with it, blah blah. Blah. And he said something else or whatever, but we end up buying it, whatever. You let one of your friends that didn't have a board borrow your board.
Use it, yeah.
Okay.
can
Can you tell me what happened? What was it that happened with her? Because there's a couple of things that you told me that happened. Like even the baby was like you told me a couple of things. I don't know if it's the same incident.
Are you talking about when they had to put the cross on top of the baby's forehead so they could come
Is that the
back
same
down?
person?
Well, that's two incidents that happened.
So it's two different incidents, but with the
It's
same person or two different people?
Two different people.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So the person you gave the board to, give me that story. What happened? Because I know she went through some stuff.
Okay. My friend, she told me this. She told me, but I believe her because I know she's like she don't lie. I know her for so long, so it's like we were real buddies, and she was telling me that.
Did y'all go to school together too?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was telling me that she had a Ouija board, right? And she said that she had her baby, and they were using the Ouija board. A couple of people in her
That
house.
was your Ouija board then, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And because I lent it to her,
Mhm.
and then she says, "Are you gonna come and stay with me?" I said, "No, because I gotta go food shopping, grocery, but you could use it or whatever." And then she was telling me that because she had a baby, and it was in the crib and everything, but she could look like she would leave the door open and like check on the baby, even though they were playing over here. And I remember she told me that they all started asking questions, and the Ouija board started moving by itself, and they kept saying, "Oh, you moving it, you moving." I said, "No, it was moving actually by itself." And then she kept asking like personal question. Hey, spirit, are you there? Please talk to me. All this crap. And the usual thing. The thing was that there was one of her friends. She started like goofing about it. Oh man, that shit ain't no. Y'all moving the stuff like they. She didn't believe it. And actually, she said, "Well, just ask a question or whatever, and it'll answer you." So she started getting more kind of person like, "Oh, when what year am I gonna die?" So the Ouija board will answer her like in 19 whatever. That's bullshit or whatever. So all of a sudden, um, because she was saying something about her aunt was in the hospital also, and that she was getting ready to die, but she wanted to make sure like which day was she's gonna die. So actually, she mentioned it. The Ouija board mentioned exactly the same date and everything, and that the lady was gonna die and say her name and everything. So she got upset. Oh man, that's bullshit. But right there and there, her cellular rang, and when she got the news, they just told her your aunt just died, and she couldn't believe it. So she got up and she just threw the damn thing like that and started running, and went to see her aunt, but she couldn't even say goodbye because.
And I hear that you should always disconnect yourself that
So
way.
they didn't even say goodbye to the spirit. They just let it around. So at that night, my friend, this was one of the girls that was there, but then at that time, my friend came and she was looking. After they all left, she was looking at the baby. When she went to check the baby was floating. So she started running. She took a cross and put it in the baby's forehead, and that's how the baby came back to the crib.
Wow.
And and the thing is, the baby when they put it in there, it kind of burned the baby and it left them a scar in the forehead. So I said, "Oh my god!" So it was a lot of stuff happening with that Ouija board,
especially at that time, right? Because that was like the thing. I mean, it was
Mucha
out on
gente
top of
usándolo.
us.
a lot of people
Mucha,
used to use
too much
it.
energy in todas las casas everywhere.
But the thing is, if you're gonna mess with something, buy advice. Just make sure, if you're gonna mess with spirits or what, just make sure you let them go, and close the thing back the way it was. Just make sure that they go back to peace with their word. Don't just let them be
Yeah,
around.
disconnect the correct way, you know.
And
Yeah.
disconnect
Um,
from that world because I feel like don't you like open into it
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
and
it
then you
is.
You
like go
got
by and
yeah,
then you
because
die
you
and
know
I go back
then
to
if you leave it open,
It's just gonna be
you know,
around
don't expect
everywhere.
there's gonna be you know, good things happening because they're probably upset that you left them like that. It's like letting somebody hang, you
Like
know,
then,
leaving somebody
I
hanging, you know.
remember I after that she told me that I throw the Ouija board away. But then when we was living up in North Street of North Philly,
You
I
found it.
bought it
Oh,
again.
you
No,
did
I
buy it
bought
again.
another one. And
Oh,
that's
I
when the guy
remember.
told me, "Hey, you sure you're gonna?" I said,
Yeah, I
"Well,
forgot
we're
about
gonna
that, guys. I
try."
remember, and something happened. I think Pancho, whatever,
Yeah,
whoever
and
was
it was
playing,
gonna
he didn't
happen to you,
believe it, and like
and I saved your
this
life.
big, this big dresser and a big TV. It was Michael. I said, man, yeah,
And me
it,
too.
it
I
went
hold it
right just
too.
like this out of nowhere. Like if somebody just pushed the whole thing, and it's heavy to be pushed like that, and I was like this, it was gonna just crush me. And
Yeah, and
yeah, he put his hands like that, and I
my
got out the
partner was
way.
the one that put his hand
Yeah,
in there
yeah.
and saved his life. But it was for the same reason. They were playing with the Ouija board. Pancho didn't want to believe in it.
Well,
And he just left everything like that. I said, don't do that. Don't do that. I kept saying,
yeah,
come back. We got to close it up.
and then me, I don't want to get paid for it.
Yeah, he was little. He went to the bedroom to, I don't know why you went to the bedroom.
So I want
To
to get the
mother.
hell out of there. I don't want to
And
go in
then
my
that's
room.
when the
Shit.
TV was going to fall on you. It wasn't going to be something really bad. I'm glad that
oh
we
y'all had
caught
like the
it.
box TVs.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's one of those big heavy TVs. Back then.
Yeah. I
Oh, yeah.
remember it was on top
I
of a
remember having
bureau.
them.
We're talking about maybe 1992,
Is that the
93.
same one we had in the apartment?
No, that was just Memorial TV.
You
It
must
was,
have been
no, not
around
like
9 years.
that big.
You was like 8 or 9 years old.
But it was on top of a dresser that was heavy. And back then, they didn't make stuff light. Now everything is solid, you know. Back then, too.
Heavy.
I wish they made stuff
Pura
like they did
madera.
before. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you find it, it's just so expensive.
Como el de Amish, furnitura Amish que es pure madera.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's one of the best
Yeah, like the wooden. It's
furniture
really
to get.
cherry wood is the real good.
Mahogany is
Mahogany,
expensive.
yeah.
You know, that's cool. But again, I just want to thank you for taking some time to come and share some of your experiences here in my RAW-NATIK channel. Um, good stuff, real stuff. You know, we can't make this up. You know, I know I mentioned all these things in the other podcasts that I've done, and hearing it from her, you know.
Do we got time? Maybe we could talk about what happened, like about my hands.
You know, I don't remember you even telling me. Go ahead, go ahead. Tell me that story because I don't remember
Yeah.
correctly.
There was. I remember. Um, it was like Good Friday, and I remember that I always wanted to be able to like cure people, because to me, I got that ability that God blesses me with that to help people when they're sick and make them feel better when I put my hands on them and whatever.
Like a healer, yeah.
Yeah, something like a healer. And I remember it was a Friday. It was a Holy Friday, the night before. So I remember I got on my knees. I remember right now I can't go on my knees, but back in that time I did went on my knees. Even though it was a little hard, but I still did it, and I was praying to God to please give me the strength that I need, so and the power that I need to keep healing people if they would need me or whatever, stuff like that. I started praying for a while or whatever, and I remember I went to sleep that day. I had an apartment. I was living in my apartment by myself. And all of a sudden, I remember I woke up it was around 3 o'clock in the morning that I was going to go to the bathroom. And I remember when I woke up, because I had all my lights off, and I went to take my
Was
clothes.
this the apartment in the Bay?
No, that was in
Okay.
Elkhorn.
Okay.
And when I took out my blanket, I noticed I seen all these lights coming out of my hands. It was like laser, like some kind of laser or something. And I remember it was like kind of green. And I kept looking at my hands. I said, what the heck? So I started writing, like I put 1, 2, I did even up to the 9 or the 10. And I still was writing, but I wasn't scared. I don't know why. I just felt like it wasn't something normal to me. I wasn't scared. And so I said, oh, maybe I'm just dreaming. I said to myself. So I went to the bathroom, used the toilet, regular UOP, whatever, came back. And I went back in the blankets when I go to throw my blankets. And I went like that, and I still was seeing all the lightning. They were all 10 fingers were coming out. So I couldn't
Like
believe it
rays of light coming out of your hand.
out of my hands. And then I remember the next day, I fell asleep again. The next day, I called my daughter, and I told my daughter, and she won't believe me. She said, "Oh, Mom, you're going crazy. Don't say that to nobody because people want to think you're crazy." I remember. That's what she said to me. So I told you, I think I mentioned it to you one time. And then I told her, since you don't believe me, well, let Solimar stay with me tonight so that if she gets it, I'm going to make sure she takes a picture of it, and so that
So somebody else could witness it, yeah.
Yeah.
She admitted it to me that she saw it.
She saw it and she took the pictures.
I asked her.
See, she's your cousin. She told you, right? And she actually took the pictures, and it was coming out of my hands. I don't know if it was a blessing that God gave me at that moment, letting me know.
If you listen to your story, it kind of feels that way, like, it was God answering you,
Yeah.
So that's but real fast. Besides that, now that I remember, you had an apartment here in the Bay, close around here,
Mm-hmm.
and you told me something that you went through.
Oh yeah.
Actually, you've been through 2 things that have to do with witches.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you had a problem that happened here with a witch.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least, well, you tell me. Why do you think it's a witch? Why do you think it was a witch?
Well, first of all, the one that I had here in the Bay was that I left one time to buy groceries, and I remember my apartment. It was like you go in, it's like a little hall, and then the steps going to go down the basement, and then there was my door for my apartment because there was somebody else living upstairs. And I remember when I got there, I saw a whole bunch of lights coming from the bottom of the door because it was nighttime, so you could see like if somebody would have lights.
Yeah.
But I kept hearing like a lot of people talking inside the apartment, so I thought that it was my landlord that had came inside the apartment. And over here, when I tried to open the door, I remember it just went poof. I just heard that poof, like everything disappeared. It was a lot of people talking,
Y todo se quedó quiet.
and everything disappeared. I heard the pop and poof.
They had a meeting in her house.
And it disappeared. I remember that time. And then there was another.
Jen, Daddy, and you don't show us a picture.
Well. I'm gonna get to that one. That's gonna be the second incident. So you went into that apartment. There was nothing.
There was nothing.
But you heard, like, if it would have been multiple people in there, you saw lights and everything. But you went into there
and everything disappeared.
Okay, so that was the only incident that you had there. But in Darien.
Oh yeah, that one was terrible.
I remember, guys. My mom would tell me and my wife and all of us that she saw a witch. That she saw a witch and this and this and this and that. So, we always had that in the back of our mind and stuff. And then I told her maybe it was something else that you saw, whatever. But it came out on the news. And somebody took a picture of it and they actually looked. Darien, Wisconsin. Look it up, guys. A witch, Darien, Wisconsin. Look at the photos and stuff. It looks like a witch on a broomstick.
Right.
Well,
it wasn't the same bridge that you told me about. They showed the picture.
No, that's funny because I swear I remember you calling her and be like, "You crazy, ain't nothing there."
Yeah,
and then later,
he actually came in the news.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
He actually came in the news. I remember I used to get up real early because I used to work in a gas station, and I had to open the store and the gas station at 6:00 on the dot. So I would always leave like around 5:30. It was like a half an hour drive to get to the gas station. So I usually like go into there, and then I usually have my lights or whatever. And because it was so dark going through the bridge, I decided to turn on the long beams. When I turned on the long beams, right on top of I saw it was flying actually.
The high beams. You put the high beams
I
on.
put the high beam, and I saw it was like a witch It was on top of a broom because it was landed, and I remember it was right on top of the trees. It was not sitting on the tree. It was flying over like that, and it was like with the paperback color brownish. It had like a cake like that will actually go down like in from the back. And once I turned the lights on, I saw it went all the way up to the top of the field, the cornfield. So I couldn't go like that to see it more because
You
I
can
would
go that
end
way.
up going
Yeah,
into
yeah,
the
yeah.
field. So, but it was as big as I would say if it would come down as big as it was like half of a street. That's how big that witch was. Half of a street long.
Wow.
Yeah, and I
I
will never
believe it.
forget
I
that
believe
day.
it now.
Never.
I mean, I did believe her, but at the moment, I'm like, yeah, right, blah blah. I'm like, maybe she's on some medication or something.
No, push.
But
How am I gonna be
it
in
came
medication? I
out.
gotta go
It
to
came
work.
out on the news exactly what she said. They showed the picture exactly what she described. Came out in the picture, and in the same area, that little bridge coming from
And
Darien
this
to
was like
Delaware.
Yeah, I
right,
can
like
find
2
it if I
days,
look
one
it
day
up.
after 2 days, something
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
trying
After I
to
told
find
you.
Yeah, yeah. That was it came out a couple days
Darien?
after that. Yep.
Darien.
And that was scary to me because you were just telling us that, and another person witnessed it. They took a picture and they made a report on it.
See that? Because it's true.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie here, sit down here international and say lie. I mean everything that I'm saying is because it's the truth. It happens to me and I could put my life on it that it's true. I'm not lying. I don't have a reason to lie.
Well, one thing I found out when I
It
was
was
a
near to a
child,
little creek.
I lived in
Oh,
a room
really?
that was black.
Near to
My picture, a picture.
No wonder shit happens to me.
I mean the lady probably that used to live there probably did witchcraft and stuff, but I wasn't aware of it.
Look, they have
know?
witnesses stories. See, witness story.
Mm.
The witness.
Well,
The
witnessing.
witness. The witness was traveling west on Creek Road on her way to work. As she approached her creek bridge, she observed a large wing being that she described as a flying witch. The being was at the treetop altitude and was gliding in her direction. It was early dawn, but enough light was available for her to make out the form.
Early dawn, yeah, around the time.
And there was another one. Did not notice where the winged being flew to after the encounter. She doesn't know if she's Hispanic. And she stated that the being looked similar to a witch that was described to her as a child. She was quite upset and worried that she may encounter this being in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the witness that I read that one time. But there's multiple witnesses. I didn't even know there was multiple witnesses. You see, so that one lady, my mom's a witness, and everybody else that wrote things down. It was real shit. That's why I like a lot of things, but one of my passions is paranormal. Again, if you look it up in the dictionary, paranormal is tons of stuff. Not just ghosts and goblins and demons and spirits and voodoo and no, it's so much. It's so much paranormal. Things that ain't normal. Like it's just like even a goat with 2, 3 heads. That's not normal. That's paranormal. How did that happen? Um, it could have been something biologically or whatever the case may be, but it's still not normal. And it's interesting things. So,
How long do we got? Can I say something else?
you got more? Go ahead, 'cause I gotta go pick up.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if it's something that God gave me. But for instance, before the COVID came, I witnessed uh, a, it was something weird because I was sitting in my house watching TV, and through the window it comes this big ass ball, and I'm telling you, it was like a sun big. It reflected the whole apartment. My whole apartment was like if the sun was in there. And I'm over here sitting watching TV, and I look and I see that big ball there and another little ball on top with spikes. And this happened to me, and I told and when this happened to me, I said, I started like rubbing my eyes because I started seeing like it was kind of like like
Foggy,
when you go under the water in the pool, you open your eyes.
blurry.
It was something like blurry. So I said, "Oh God, please, dear God, be with me. Don't let me down. Just be with me. Give me the strength." So I got up. Even though the boss was there, it was just frozen. It was just right there, standing there. It wasn't standing, it was floating, but it wasn't like those two things. And I went to the bathroom, I washed my face, and I tried. When I came back, it was all gone.
So
Then
was it floating in your living room
it
or?
was just floating in there.
Like an
And it
orb?
was, and this was like,
Yeah, that's the only thing that comes to my
Like a big
mind
old
is
orb?
is a orb. A
but it
orb.
was a, no, I know a little orb, something a little, but this was a big ass ball with spike. And then the thing is, when this happened, I also mentioned it to my daughter. I had never knew what COVID looked like it. And then I saw that putting in the news, and I said, oh shit, that's exactly what I saw in my living room. Because I noticed it was the COVID thing. Maybe it was God telling me about that was coming or whatever, a certain way.
I know my dad also my dad been through a couple of things that he have told me, the little bit of times that we talk about stuff like that. And one of the things was that he actually had a dream of the Twin Towers happening before it even happened.
Really?
He said he saw with his own eyes everything, and yeah, it was a vision. If that happened, guys, it's a vision. It's just letting you know what's gonna happen. But we still got to work on understanding things like that because just because we see something, is this is a real vision? Is it a vision or is it not? It's just something that went through your mind.
O
So you got to
maybe,
know how to control
maybe
it.
Dios te da un don, pero tú sabes, tienes que saber cómo
Yeah,
trabajar
yeah,
en
yeah.
él, cómo
Everybody
controlarlo.
have a
No todo el
gift.
mundo sabe.
Everybody
Yeah,
has a gift from God, and
yeah.
you just got to know how to work with it.
Mhm.
People lazy though; they don't want to work with it. But if you do, it's good.
When I was in psychology class, I think last year, my teacher was talking about how deja vu isn't real; it's fake, and it's because apparently it's like a replay in your mind. But then there's also those situations where you know something's happening, you think about it, and it actually happens. So how is that possible?
I don't know. That has to be a gift from God. You got to know how to work with that. When I
Yeah.
have, I tell a lot of people what I'm about to say right now. I have this gift from God. I don't even know if you know this, but I have a gift from
Oh
God
yes, I
that
know.
I feel
Before me
when
too.
something is gonna happen. Now, when I have a feeling that something's gonna happen, something happens. But this is the thing: I don't know what is it going to be.
Now you don't know if it's gonna
So
be
I don't
you
know if it's
or
gonna be, God forbid, a car crash or a family member or with me or a friend, a close
It's
friend,
gonna.
somebody that I.
It's
And
usually.
what is it? What is it that's gonna happen? That I got this feeling, and so I hate it. Like it's good in a way. Like okay, everybody stay
You
on
know.
point,
Mhm.
because something's gonna pop up. But at the same time, I don't like being all day with that anxiety, knowing that something is gonna happen,
Well,
in a bad way.
I suggest that because that happens to me too, and when that sensation coming to my body, because I feel like a gut in my stomach, and it's like you say, it's like a
Goes to your
sensation that
stomach and you like
you're gonna feel like
chest,
something is
everything.
gonna happen that it's gonna it's a news that's gonna affect you in some way. It's gonna affect you in some way. So the best thing that I always do is I bless all my family to and pray to God to keep them
Yeah, as
safe.
soon as I feel
I
like
feel
that,
like I tell them, God, please touch my family, my grandkids, my granddaughters, everywhere they are. Keep them
I just
safe.
be more
My
alert, more
son, my
aware,
daughter, my daughter-in-law, my son-in-law,
You going out
everybody, my
driving or
brothers and
something,
sisters.
make sure you look everywhere because it could be because even if you're a good driver, somebody
Yeah,
else could hit you. So
yeah.
it's
Those are feelings that you get. It's, to me, I think that's the spiritual. It's something spiritual that comes from God that gives you like
yeah, like I said, and I'm sure a lot of
letting
people
you
got
know,
that too.
there's
But
a God out there, and
so
no matter what,
I
there's
gotta work with that
we
gift.
work
That's
it.
all. I just gotta
There's
work with
good
that
and
gift.
there's bad. There's good people, there's bad people. It's like everything. What in order for the good to assist, it has to assist the bad too.
Of course.
So
Yin and yang,
God give
la
you
luz y la oscuridad.
God give you options. You have
Yep.
to choose which one is the one that you want. It's,
Of course, man. There's good, there's bad, and everybody's got to stay on point. This is 2023. Already we're going on 2024. If you don't know these things, you should know. Be aware, stay alert, and they ain't shit out there really to be freaking going crazy about and wanting to be outside and stuff like that, especially in bad areas. Stay safe, everybody.
I just feel for the youngers these days because, like my grandkids, like they're old enough to go out and they go clubbing. They go with a good heart because they really don't think nothing bad's gonna happen. But look at what's going
Well, it's like
on
I
in the
said, you could
schools,
be a
in
good
the
driver.
clubs,
You could be a good driver, but everybody around you might not be a good driver.
and
That's an example right there. So you go with positivity and you end up in the negative or around negative.
being hurt. Yeah.
So it's crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end this podcast, this live. I
just-
appreciate everybody that is gonna see this and that have seen it. Thank you for all the likes on the shorts that I've been doing in the mornings. And keep tuning in and checking in on the Keeping It 100 podcast, wherever you want to listen into iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff. And don't forget to check out PIWI on Facebook. And we got good things coming soon. We do as we go. Everybody's real busy and stuff. So
I just want to say bye to my brothers and bye to Robert. Hi, Robert. If you see me in Puerto Rico, we still love you.
yeah.
Take care.
Take care, everybody. Keep it 100%. And till next time.
Bye.
Bye. Peace.
Peace.